Hey everyone, I'm Jill the Wandering Stamper, and I hope you're having a fabulous Wednesday. It's chilly here in Florida again, so I have my warm clothes on, which is crazy, but you know what? We can't have it warm every day, I guess. So today we are making an interesting card. In the past, I've done a video making a bookbinding card, and I've also made a video of an explosion card. Today we're going to combine the two and do a bookbinding explosion card. So you're going to get both of the fun folds in one simple card. So let me take a moment to turn down the camera and we'll get started. I'm so glad you joined me today.
Here's what we're using today. I grabbed the Nature Symphony suite of products. I love the suite, and I had a lot of you tell me you really loved it and you wanted to see another masculine card. So we're going to do this as a masculine card today. I grabbed the faux bronze pentagon. So this is part of the suite of products. Really, really pretty. We've got Pretty Peacock. Now I've done this card in different colors. I've done it in Old Olive and Mossy Meadow. I'm going to do it in Pretty Peacock today because that's one of the other shades in the beautiful Designer Series paper. If you haven't seen the Designer Series paper, it's super pretty. It just goes with a lot of things. So we have all these beautiful shades of found in nature, really, and both sides are just really, really beautiful. I've used so much of this paper already. I think that you're going to love it if you haven't seen it yet. And of course, I'm on my last little bit of this sheet. I'm going to have to order some more of this paper, but I really love it. So I think you will too. And also in the suite comes this really cool paper. It almost looks like handmade paper. It's called Natural Hues. So it feels like natural paper. You can feel all the little bumps, and it comes in 3 shades. So we're going to use that instead of like basic white or anything. And then I also grabbed the earthen toned metallic paper. Really, really pretty. And I did die cut a piece already, and that's from the dies, and we're going to put this on our card. So all of these products are so pretty. I grabbed a little bit of basic beige because I wanted to add some ribbon to it, but I wanted to keep that masculine feel. So this is just a very, very basic piece of ribbon. So here's our Nature Symphony stamps. Love it. There is a To a Great Guy stamp in there. So when you're making these masculine cards, you've got a stamp right there for it. And then the dies, super cool dies. I love them. I love that they have a couple extra pieces that are texture. And of course, I've pulled out the leaf one because I used it, but this one is really nice. And it die cuts everything so well. So this is a really great set. All right, so showing you that, let me show you how to make this card. Let me get all of my stuff out of the way. It's not a hard card to make at all. And I love that we're adding 2 techniques together to make it just a little bit more wow. So we're going to start out, I haven't even opened my glue. Let me open my glue here. All right, we're going to start out with our base 4 1/4 by 11. So again, this is Pretty Peacock. And we're going to cut that 4 1/4 by 11. And then we're going to do some scoring. We're going to score at 4 1/4 and 5 1/2. Super simple. All right. So that is going to be folded in half, and then that other score line creates that bookbind. All right. So we're going to set that aside for a moment. And then you're going to want to pick your Designer Series paper and make a piece that's 4 by 4. Now, on a typical card, if you made this card without adding the dies, and that'll make sense in a minute, you would do a cardstock layer that's 4 by 4, and then you would do a Designer Series paper that's slightly smaller, so 3/4 by 3/4. Now, what I'm doing on this panel, and this is it's going on the front of the card, but I'm doing something a little different, so I'm going to show you what I'm doing. So I got my 4 by 4 piece, and I used that beautiful leaf die, and I die cut it, okay? So this is going to be on the front of our card, but we want these little leaves to really pop. So to do that, we're going to cut a piece of this beautiful natural paper, and I'm going to cut that just slightly smaller. So in this example, I'm going to do 3 7/8 by 3 7/8. I just want it just a tiny bit smaller than 4 so that we don't see any of those edges. But it's going to make those leaves pop out. But typically you would want to do 3/4 by 3/4 for the designer series paper and 4x4 for the cardstock. I'm doing it a little different because I want to have my die cuts show through. All right, and again, these directions will be linked below on my blog, so you can go there and get the exact instructions. So when I put my card together, these are going to be sticking out like this. So I wanted my card stock to be just slightly smaller, but I don't want it to be too small because I don't want there to be any little gap showing. So that's why I only went down 1/8 of an inch. All right, and that'll make more sense in a moment. So there's that piece. All right, now we're going to want a piece of cardstock for the side edge where the book bind is. So I'm going to grab another piece of this. We're going to do 4x1. So let's see. I've got a lot of cutting going on here. So let's just do it here because I know I'm going to make some more of these. So I'm going to just cut a 1-inch strip because I'll probably make multiple cards. So 1x4. All right. And then I'm going to layer that pretty paper. I want to make sure I'm running low on this. So let me make sure I have 6x6, and I do. Okay. So let me look for scraps. Do I have any scraps? I do not. All right. So now I'm going to do so we have, whoops, this is 1x4. I want to make this just slightly smaller, and I want my wording to go left to right. So I'm going to put it this way. And sorry, I thought I was crooked there for a second, but I was not. Now I'm going to cut it about 7/8 because I want to layer it by 3 7/8. So I'm just going down 1/8. You could go down 1/4, but I don't want to lose all those cute words. So that's going to be layered just like this, and that's going to be for the left side of our card. Now for the inside, you're going to want to grab a designer series paper that's really going to pop. So I have my last bit of this, and you're going to want it to be 6x6. So if you're making a card with 6x6 cardstock or 6x6 designer series paper, you're going to be golden because it's already the perfect size. So this is 6x6. I really like this for the inside, and it's going to pull in. It's going to pull together that little panel that we just cut too. So it's going to all go together. All right, so you're going to take your 6x6, and the part that's going to show when you open your card, which for me will be this design, is going to be, so you're going to decide what the front of your paper is going to be. So this is going to be the part that pops out when we open the card. Okay, so I'm going to turn it over, and then I'm going to fold it corner to corner. All right, and you have to do it this order if you want it to close the right way. So corner to corner. All right, so that's our corner fold. Now you're going to open that back up, and now you're going to fold it this way so the back part is showing, and you're going to go up like this. Then you're going to open it and go the other way. Okay, I'll go through it one more time. It's super simple. So the design that's going to pop out, you're going to fold this way, and the design that's going to be on the back gets folded this way and this way. And so when you get that done, when you go to fold it, it's just going to fold for you like that. Okay. And so when I open my card, I've got my words on the inside. Okay. Hopefully that makes sense. That's all of our cutting and scoring. Well, we actually have some additional panels. So let me put that out of the way. Let's make our last couple panels. So we want to make a panel for this piece and this piece because that's where our sentiment's going to go and where we sign our card. So we're going to do a 2 3/4 by 2 3/4 piece of cardstock, or in this case, I'm going to use this. So what did I say? 2 3/4, because those little squares are 3 inches, by the way. So 2 3/4. This paper is a little heavier, so sometimes when I don't have my cutting blade completely on the table because I'm trying to make it so you can see what I'm doing. So that's probably the problem, but you have to push down a little harder for this natural paper. It is a little heavier. So there we go. So again, 2 3/4 by 2 3/4, and you're going to want 2 of those. So there's one. And here's the second one. All right. 2 3/4 by 2 3/4. So you could put it on just like that. Now, if you want, you could layer something below it. So I could do a bit of pretty peacock. I can think of the word pretty peacock if I wanted to. I think I'm just going to leave these like this, but my other sample I made this 2.5 inches and then layered pretty peacock at 2 3/4 inches. So you do whatever you want. You can make this as simple or as elaborate as you like. All right, that's all of our cutting for now. And don't forget, I will have everything listed below. All right, so let's go ahead. I just bumped the camera. I apologize for that. So let's go ahead and put our card together. So we've got our base, and let's go ahead and give it some burnishing with our bone folder because we want everything to be nice and crisp. And it's also a great way to make sure everything is nice and straight. All right, so we're going to do some layering. So I'm going to go ahead and layer this piece of designer series paper onto this other piece of natural paper. Just like so. And you just want everything to be nice and straight. All right. And then we have this piece here. So I want to go ahead and glue this down to this base so that our leaves have some stability. And so the way I do that is I am just going to go kind of around each section because I want to make sure those little pieces that are sticking out in the middle have a little bit of glue so they're not flopping around. So I just add a little bit. You don't have to add a lot. You just want to tack it down. You don't want it getting away from you and getting torn when people open the card. I'm just putting little bits, and this precision glue press that I have helps make that job easy. All right, that looks pretty good. So you can go ahead and just pop your paper on there, but I am going to do it this way because I want to make sure that everything is covered the right way. So I'm just layering this down, and because I use liquid glue, if I need to adjust, I can, but that actually looks really good. Okay, so now we have our paper down and we don't have any floppy pieces in the middle. So it's all tacked down really nicely. All right, and that's what you want. So that's done. We can go ahead and add these two pieces. So I'm just going to add a little liquid glue to the back. And you just want to figure out which way your leaves are going to go. I'm going to have mine shooting out from one side of the card to the other. And we're just going to get this as straight as possible. That looks good. And we're going to do the same thing for our side panel. Just like so. Make sure your words are facing the right way. And we're going to put that piece down. Now, the reason why I added these before I glued this little piece in here is because I want to go ahead and add my ribbon first. So I'm going to add my ribbon over here, just like so. I also have a little bit of leftover pretty peacock that would have been very pretty as well, but I'm going to just use this. So I am just going to simply tie a knot. Just like that. And we'll give it a little trim. Just keeping it simple. Just like so. So now that is tied. I'm going to get it nice and level where I want it. And that looks really good. So now I can just go ahead and glue the inside. So you're going to just glue this little panel right here to the inside of the card. That's your bookbinding. Now, if you want to make this card without the explosion, it's the same exact thing as my video, except you're not adding the explosion. You're just putting a card in here, or putting a piece of cardstock in there to write on. All right, so now if it's easier for you, just turn it over, give it a good press, make sure it's set. And so now when we open it, we've got our bookbinding card. So now we could just add a panel here if we wanted to and be done, but we are going to take it up a notch and add our explosion. So that piece that we already folded, we're going to make sure it's oriented kind of the right way, because it's going to open like this. All right, so my words are going this way, so that's the way I want it. So now I'm going to be placing this right here in the middle, and it fits exactly in the middle, corner to corner. So once I have it oriented the way I want to, I'm going to go ahead and add my liquid glue to the back of the square panel. And I usually just kind of hold the part that's not glued. And then you're just going to pop it down and get it all even so that all 4 of your tips are inside the card. Okay, and then just give it a good press, just like so. All right, and so now that that's in there, we're going to go ahead and glue the top. I just find it easier to do them separately. Sometimes when you try to do them at the same time, if you've got to move something over, it just doesn't work. So do your sides separately. So there's some liquid glue. We're going to go ahead and just close the card on it, and we're going to give it a good press. All right, and look, isn't that cool? All right, so now we can go ahead and decorate these. Now, the one thing you want to remember, and I sometimes forget about it, is when you decorate these, they need to be shaped like a diamond, okay? Don't stamp them this way, because then they're going to be crooked. Stamp them this way. All right, so we're going to do some stamping. I'm going to grab some scratch paper. All right, and then for the front, I also die cut this little tag from Nested Essentials, I believe, or Stylish Shapes. I think it was. I know I didn't put it away. Where is it? Yes, this comes from the Stylish Shapes dies. So I just cut this little tag to go on the front. So we've got that to stamp as well. All right, I'm going to open my Pretty Peacock. Let's get these pieces out of the way. And I'm going to grab my stamp that says, "To a Great Guy." And it happens to just fit right here inside of the stamp. Let's stamp that. Just like that. And we'll clean that off. And I love the texture in this paper. It's so nice. All right, now I'm going to grab You Make Me Smile. That's the other stamp, and we're going to stamp that right in the middle. Just like that. And then I'm going to grab Lost Lagoon, which happens to go really well with Pretty Peacock. And there's a stamp that's kind of just texture. And I could probably just, I think I am. You don't even have to stamp off. It's very light. So I'm just going to layer that right over the words just to make it a little more interesting. All right. And then last but not least, I grabbed the little leaf stamp, and I'm going to get my Pretty Peacock, and I'm just going to add one over here like that. Now you could stamp off and do it again. I think I might just grab my Lost Lagoon and do another one right here, just like that. So that's pulling in all of our colors. All right, that's all the stamping.
Super simple. We'll put these stamp pads away. You could also use a sponge dauber and add some color to the edge of your cardstock. You could brush a little color into the middle here. There's just a lot of ways you can decorate this card, but this looks good. All right, so now I'm going to go ahead and add liquid glue and put these on the inside. So this one's going to go right here in the middle. All right, and then this one's going to go on the other side. So you have a perfect place to sign your card and write a little message. Just like so. See how nice that looks? And everything is getting pulled together. I did not get that very straight, so let me adjust that. There we go. That's better. All right, so I've got a little glob of glue stuck to my finger, and of course it goes onto the paper. So get my little eraser. There we go. All right, that looks good. So now let's work on the front. I like to get the inside done, and then we can work on the front and have fun with that. So here is the piece that I die cut out of the middle. And as you can see, it matches that paper. But guess what? If you turn it over, it's a totally different shade. It's like the secret sea. Look how nice that looks. So I figure, why not use it? So what I like to do is grab my silicone craft sheet and grab my liquid glue, and I'm just going to put some dots here and there. I want my leaves to kind of have some movement, so I'm just adding a little bit of liquid glue here and there, not to the whole thing, just to keep it from being too floppy and tear. So that looks good. And you could use your tweezers for this too. It's probably a smart way to do it. And I'm just going to add these to my piece. And so it kind of just looks like some additional branches. Push that down, let it stick. Okay. And now I have this beautiful piece of metallic paper. Look how pretty this is. So pretty. So I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing, but I'm going to do it on the back this time. So I'm going to add some to the stems, and I'm just going to put a little bit of glue because I want that movement of the leaves, but I don't want them moving around too much and getting torn. So I'm just putting glue at the base of each set of leaves. That looks pretty good. And we're just going to pop these on any way you want. So that looks good. And you just want the leaves to be, and you can even cut these into pieces if you wanted to, and just kind of make a smaller spray. All right, and then I'm going to flip it over and just press it down a little bit. Okay, so that looks good. So everything kind of moves a little bit, but not too much. So now we have our little tag. All right, so we'll grab some dimensionals and add those. All right, simple. This is not a hard card to make at all. And it's a great way to make a card for your favorite guy. So then it's just a matter of where you want the tag. There's so many places you could put it. I think I'm just going to put it right here. This looks good. So we'll just add it right there. And then the last thing we have are these little embellishments. So I think I'm going to put two small ones here and a large one over here. All right, there we go. Look how pretty this is. It's nice, but it's not real feminine. So I feel like a guy would enjoy getting it. To a great guy, you make me smile.
And you've got plenty of room to write a little message here. I mean, you could even add a panel to the back if you wanted to write a love note, which you totally could. So there is the book binding with the explosion. Let me show you the other cards that I made. Here's the same card, but I used a different color scheme. So this is the darker shade of that natural paper. Same look, but it's just a darker shade. Looks really pretty. Here's another card, and I used a piece of petal pink ribbon, which kind of goes with the colors really nicely. And this uses Mossy Meadow and crumb cake. So you can do so many things. And I use the wording paper in the background. So it's really, really easy to change this up, and I fussy cut my tag this time. So it's just super simple to change these up. So there's another color scheme of it. Now look at this one. This is so cute. This uses the boho vibes. I love boho vibes, and I haven't pulled it out to play with it in a while. So I did some die cutting of all of these little pieces. And let me give you a tip. When you use boho vibe, grab yourself a sheet of press and seal and lay all your pieces out, and then put the press and seal on, and then they stick to the press and seal exactly where you want them. You can put your glue on the back and then put the press and seal down onto your paper, and it glues them all down without moving them. So you're not having to place each little piece one by one and hoping it doesn't move. Use that press and seal. So, and then I used a tag punch here, some daffodil, some darling duckling ribbon, and then look how pretty. And I just used my 6x6 designer series paper that comes in that suite of products, and it was perfect. I did a little die cutting of the heart. Super simple card, but it's so sweet. So there is that card. And then this final card was so much fun. I love this paper. If you haven't seen this paper, of course I put it back. Where is it? Did I put it back? It is somewhere. Here it is. Check out this paper. Super metallic-y paper. It is called Splash of Sparkles. Look at this side. This paper is so much fun to play with. Grab it up. But I use that and the Not 29 Anymore stamp set, which I believe is a last chance product. So if you love it, hopefully it will be available still. It may not be by the time this video posts, but that Not 29 is so much fun. So this one says, happy birthday. I don't know about you, but I feel like you're not 29 anymore. Let's get this party started so I can be home by 9. Older, but still cool. So it's a lot of fun to make a card with this set, and the paper is just gorgeous. I used Timid Tiger and Timid Tiger ribbon on this, and then just paired it with that paper. But there's so many colors in this paper that you can just change this up in so many different ways. So there is our other sample. So lots and lots and lots of ways you can make this card. So much fun. And I love that you have choices. You can do the explosion or not do the explosion. It's a lot of fun. So don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you don't already, so that you don't miss one of these fun-filled videos. And also, if you click the link below, it'll take you to my online store. Well, it takes you to my online store. It will take you to my blog page, which will have all of the cutting and scoring measurements, as well as a list of all the products that I used to make these samples. I am Jill the Wandering Stamper. I'm going to go walk the dog, and I will see you next week with another fun fold card. Have a great day, happy crafting, and I'll see you again soon. Bye!